It's showtime, folks.
Absolute cinema, baby. Another Original Six game day here. The Chicago Blackhawks home opener. Let's go. Game 3 of the season. Chicago Blackhawks versus Montreal Canadiens. I mean, if that doesn't get you fired up, I don't know what does. There are a few better matchups. There are a few better rivalries. Nothing beats an Original Six matchup, especially on a Saturday night. A lot to look forward to today. A lot of storylines, a lot of narratives. Should be a fun game to cover for sure, and should be an entertaining game tonight. I think we're all looking forward to it. So, especially after being completely deprived of hockey last night. I mean, yesterday on Friday night there was no hockey being played. I mean, I'm not really sure what the NHL is doing. The NHL is truly its own worst enemy. I mean, just Friday night, no hockey. Makes no sense whatsoever. I don't know, baseball playoffs. I don't know what the excuse is, but anyway, it seems like pretty much everybody's playing today, including our Chicago Blackhawks. So anyway, let's just get right into the matchup. No need to ramble with this one. No nonsense. Let's cut right to the point. Blackhawks Habs. Big time matchup. A lot to look forward to here. I think some of the storylines get into right away. Ivan Demidov versus Artie Levshinov. I think obviously that's going to be the one on Twitter, especially. I'm sure Habs Twitter is going to be slandering our boy Artie Party quite a bit, but hopefully Artie Party locks in. I think the first two games there's been some struggles. I think for Levshinov, this is definitely the game you want to see him lock in more. You're facing the Canadiens, and Demidov is probably going to show up. So I'm sure Hawks Twitter is going to be pointing that out as well. So again, I don't want to compare those two, but they're constantly going to be compared. The media is always going to compare them, so you're kind of forced to compare them. That's definitely going to be a storyline to watch. Second time they faced off against each other. Obviously, the first time last year in the second to last game of the season where Demidov had a goal and assist, 2 points. But the Hawks came away with the win, courtesy of Frank the Tank Nazar, which this, for me, is the real storyline. This is the number one storyline on the docket. Everybody's going to say Levshinov versus Demidov, but really, I think it's Frank Nazar versus Kirby Dach, because that's a direct comparison. That's a direct trade. If you look at that, 2022, the Hawks traded Kirby Dach to Montreal for their first-round pick, which became Frank Nazar at 13 overall. Whereas if you look at 2024, the Hawks selected a defenseman at pick number 2 in Artie Levshinov. But they weren't the only ones to pass up on Levshinov. The Ducks did, and the Blue Jackets as well. The Ducks selected Beckett Seneca, and the Blue Jackets selected Kata Lindstrom. And those are forwards. So I think those two are probably, more questionable than the Hawks, who took a different positional player, a different need. But everybody only seems to slander the Hawks for that. Oh, the Blackhawks passed up on Ivan Demidov, but there are 4 teams. The Sharks too, obviously, but Celebrini, that's acceptable. But yeah, there are 4 teams that passed on Demidov. He dropped to 5. It's not like he dropped from 2 to 3, but everybody always brings up the Hawks there. But anyway, that's a little random tangent there. But I think Frank Nazar versus Kirby Dach is the real comparison there. And if you look at that, so far, Frank the Tank's coming out on top. I mean, he's 3 years younger in terms of draft class, and I think he's already a better player. I think Kirby Dach, he had a promising first season in Montreal, but has suffered with injuries, which, as Blackhawks fans, we grew pretty used to Kirby Dach injuries throughout his Blackhawks tenure, and that sort of followed him around in Montreal. He hasn't really been able to shake that mantra off. So we'll see. Still a young player, can still figure it out, but it just seems as the day goes on, it's just not going to happen there in Montreal. He might need another change of scenery. So us Blackhawks fans, we've played these games before. We've seen it happen before. So, and Frank Nazar, I've already glazed Frank Nazar probably. Besides Connor Bedard, I probably glazed Frank Nazar the most on this program so far. But I really need to say more about him. But obviously, want to see him step up tonight, have another big game. He had a big one last time he faced Montreal when he had that shootout winner. He also scored a goal in regulation, I believe. So one of his better games of the year. Then he's season out strong. So I want to see a big game out of him. And also, not just Kirby Dach versus Frank Nazar, but Kirby Dach versus Colton Dach. The battle of the Dach brothers tonight. The Dach bros. The Dach Smash Bros. I don't know. I thought I was onto something there. I was on to nothing. But, I think that'll be a fun matchup to see. Colton Dach, big year for him to kind of assert himself as a part of this Blackhawks core, part of this forward unit. I think he's off to a pretty good start. He's looked good in that first line with Bedard and Burakovsky. So, and they're rolling that again. So, is it crazy to say that Colton Dach could actually end up having a better NHL career than Kirby? Okay, that might be delusion. That might be. Kirby's definitely got more talent than Colton, but I don't know. I feel like Colton has more grit and sandpaper in his game, whereas Kirby Dach, he's too fragile. He just doesn't quite have that that killer instinct. He doesn't quite know how to use his body. He has his big frame. He doesn't know how to use it. He's kind of awkward out there the way he plays. Whereas Colin Dock's a dog with a W. He's a Snoop Dogg. He's just a tough guy. He has that mentality, right? Where he's just gonna grind you down. He's gonna wear you down. I think he knows that's the way he has to play if he wants to survive in this league. So no credit to him there. But yeah, I think in terms of next chapter here, line combinations, we'll start with the Habs. They're rolling Caulfield, Suzuki, Slavkovsky on line one, which the Caulfield-Suzuki connection's always been strong for them. So that's going to probably deliver in a big way. Yeah, and then line two, we got Alex Newhook, Oliver Kapanen, and Ivan Demidov. Interesting they got Demidov with Kapanen and Newhook. That's an interesting little duo, threesome there. Pause. Yeah, and then third line, we got Bolduc, Kirby Dach, Gallagher. Yeah, Kirby Dach's not even the 2C. Like, they brought on Kirby Dach to be the 2C behind Suzuki, and they got him in the third line center slot right now behind Kapanen. So that's pretty curious right there. I'm surprised they're not running Kirby Dach in the second line with Demidov and, like, Laine up there. Patrick Laine is in their fourth line. They got Laine, Evans, Anderson as their fourth line. Very interesting. It worked for them game one. They won 5-1 Thursday against the Red Wings. They were pretty good in that game. So, but yeah, definitely you can definitely tell they're trying to spread the wealth throughout the lineup. Like, could they stack up that top six and put Laine and Dach up there? Yeah, but they're trying to spread it out throughout the lineup, it appears. So, fair enough. But yeah, I probably want to get Demidov better line mates than that. But that's just me. Maybe even throw up there that first line, create a nuclear option with Caulfield, Suzuki. But then you got to drop down Slavkovsky, and that probably would be the best. I don't know. I guess you don't knock if you don't try it, right? But yeah, and then defensive pairs, we got Mike Matheson and Noah Dobson. Dobson they brought on during the offseason to kind of help give Lane Hudson support back there. So he doesn't have to do everything, and he can kind of man the second power play units. They don't have to put Mike Matheson there. I know macho Canadiens fans are always slandering Mike Matheson, but now they don't have to worry about him running the power play because they got Lane Hudson and Noah Dobson to do that. So that's pretty nice for them. And then we got Caden Guley and Lane Hudson on pair two. I believe Lane Hudson, by the time this is out, he actually might be extended. I don't know if it's confirmed yet, but I did see I believe Marco D'Amico, I believe, that the Habs are closing in on Lane Hudson extension. I believe it's going to be 8 years by 9.5. That was yesterday, and as I'm recording this, I haven't really fact-checked that. So by the time this video is out, by the time you're watching it, he might be extended. I don't know. It might happen before this game. It might happen later. I don't know. But yeah, it sounds like he will be extended soon to a deal that will look similar to Noah Dobson. But yeah, Lane Hudson, 2025 Calder winner, beat out Macklin Celebrini for that honor. Celebrini actually didn't finish second. He finished third. So I'm just noticing. But yeah, Hudson's he's super fun to watch. I've seen comments like he's like, if Patrick Kane was a defenseman, he's Lane Hudson. I was like, yeah, I could see that. And yeah, third pair they got Jack Guy and Carrier. Jack Guy, Mr. Wi-Fi man, so Mr. Tough Guy. And then in net they got Montembeault and Dobbs. I'm not sure which one. I think Dobbs started game one, so I believe Montembeault would probably start this game. I'd imagine. I'm just guessing there, and according to Daily Faceoff, it looks like he is. So if I'm wrong about that, I'm wrong. But yeah. And then Blackhawks, I believe, are mostly unchanged. I'm just going to take a quick look at the Hawks lines, make sure they didn't make any adjustments there. Give me a sec. Yeah, but Dickinson is out, though, I believe. Yeah, I think the forward lines are pretty much the same for the Hawks, I believe. They look the same to me. Look pretty much unchanged. So, and yeah, on defense, they did send down Ethan Dalmasher, I believe. So, got 7 defensemen up here. So, but yeah, otherwise, those pairs look the same as well. So, unchanged Hawks lineup. I thought, they looked good against the Bruins. They didn't win the game. I thought they deserved the win. So, I'm not really shocked they didn't really change anything out that could change really necessary. So, good stuff from Blashill there. If this was Sorensen or Richardson, we would have seen this entire group look completely different already. So, he found a combo that works. And he's going to stick with it for now. So, that's good. Like to see that. Like to see some chemistry, some continuity. So, good to see that. And I believe Knight's going to be starting tonight. I'm assuming he is. Looks like Daily Faceoff has Knight in that. So, good to see that as well. Yeah, in terms of, score predictions, betting lines. What we got the betting lines here? Let me check. Yeah, they got the Canadiens. This is via DraftKings. They got the Canadiens at -162 and the Hawks at +136. So it's closer, but they definitely still favor the Canadiens quite a bit, which, home opener for the Blackhawks, home ice. They're 0-1-1 so far, but you think they're going to want to go their first 3 games of an L? I don't want to pick the Hawks to win every score prediction. So far, I'm 0-2 from that regard, but I mean, how can I not pick the Hawks to win this game? I mean, if they play the way they did against Boston, I think they can come away with the win this time. I mean, the Canadiens are a better team now. They want to be in the playoffs this year. They made the playoffs last year. I think they could do it again, take another step. But it's still a young team that's probably, I'd say, 2 years ahead of us in terms of where they're at in the rebuild. I mean, they're not really in the rebuild anymore. They're a contender now, but so we're a couple years behind them. But I think we're on the right trajectory. I think best case scenario, the Hawks can have a season that sort of reminisces that this year. Not playoffs. We're not stiff in the playoffs, but I think you could see, a 10, 15 point, 5-win improvement or something. That'd be solid. So I don't think the Hawks are that far behind the Canadiens in that regard. Maybe a 1.5 years behind. The Hawks, it's quicker. The Hawks aren't as far away as people think. I'm just going to say that. Like, they're not as far away as people think. Like, these things tend to turn around pretty quick, and I think you're going to see that this year. There's going to be growing pains of a young team, but I think when they figure it out, they're going to figure it out. I mean, look at those 07, 08 Hawks teams, with Kay and Tays and that core group. Like, they figured it out pretty damn quick. So we're not there yet. Like, I'd say we're a year or two away from that, but it's going to come sooner than you think. So there's a lot to look forward to there. But yeah, I'd say back to the actual game itself. I don't know why I went on this long tangent of nothing there, but back to the game itself, I would say score prediction. I mean, I haven't gotten a single one right so far, so we'll see if third time's a charm. Score prediction. I'll say 3-2 Blackhawks. 3-2 Blackhawks, and Frank the Tank's going to get on the board. Frank the Tank's going to get on the board, yeah. He already has 3 points in 2 games so far. I think he's going to keep that streak going. He's going to remain the Hawks' leading producer so far this season, so... yeah, I mean, if I just keep saying the Hawks are going to win, like they're eventually going to win, right? Like they're just, do I have to play the good old reverse jinx one of these days? One of these days, I think I will. Yeah, that might be the play. So, yeah, I think that's all I got for this one. Short and sweet pregame. I'm not going to overextend. And yeah, come back later for the postgame tonight. That should be a fun one. Really looking forward to that. Should be a fun postgame show. So. Hopefully, finally a win. Hopefully, finally a Hawks dub. I've been waiting for it. I think we've all been waiting for it. I think it'll probably help my views out a little bit, too. So, speaking of that, yeah, be sure to subscribe to the Bhawkmemes YouTube channel if you haven't already. And if you haven't noticed, I've changed up the interface a little bit. I've actually got some things on the screen, so you're not just looking at me. I got all my socials, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, the whole 9 yards there. So, yeah, if you could follow me on all platforms, I'd greatly appreciate that. That means a ton to me. So, yeah, thank you so much for your support. And, yeah, I will see you tonight for the post game. And, yeah, don't forget to like the video, too. I appreciate that. Anyway, that's all I got. See you later tonight.